G'day there guys, Markee here, and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the Asshole? Let's go. Would I be the asshole for setting limits on my roommate's kids' food time? I'm going to preface this by saying I've struggled with eating disorder my whole life, and haven't been able to get as much help as I should have, so I may have a warped understanding here. I moved in mutually with a roommate who has 3 children, ages 2, 4, and 5. The way she feeds the kids is open, or as she puts it, letting them graze. She'll fix full meals, set them on the table, and the kids will come by and grab a forkful or 2 at a time. The food will be out until the next meal is prepared, even overnight. My issues with this are twofold. I really don't think it's healthy for kids to eat food that's been sitting out for hours and hours. I'm not an expert on food safety, but chicken can't be good at room temperature for that long. Secondly, there are so many flies. It drives me insane the number of flies in the house. It's gross. Early on, I had thought that food was left out mistakenly and threw it out as they had left for the day. The kids had a temper tantrum, and my roommate said she feared I would pass my warped sense of food onto the kids. That's the last thing that I want, but I can't live with the flies. I've thought about putting an ultimatum. Either serve the kids smaller portions so there's not full meals sitting unattended, which to me sounded like it would be healthier, leaving the rest of the meal refrigerated, or cover them on the table to get rid of the flies. But I'm also aware that I'm rather messed up with food understanding, so I want to make sure that I'm not being a jerk here. Now in the comments, not the asshole. Leaving uncovered food simply sitting on the table for hours and hours so her kids can graze on cold, fly-covered food is gross. Super gross. They must get regular tummy aches from spoiled food, so maybe that's why they're not big on eating. This is so bizarre, and mum needs to give the kids structure and reasonable rules. My kids are slow eaters. We eat as a family, but if they are not done within 35 minutes, leftovers are refrigerated and they can have a snack later if they are still hungry. I tend to do that to myself. My dad and I will go out to eat and I'll just slowly eat my food, take it home, and within an hour or so just eat the rest of it. I cannot imagine just leaving it out for hours on end to graze on. Not the asshole. That's really odd, unhealthy in terms of the kids' relationship with food, and unhygienic. Nothing to do with your issues with food, and don't let her make you feel it is. I finally get to say it. Roomie is actually gaslighting OP by using OP's food issues to dismiss their very reasonable issue with this system. You would not be the asshole. This isn't you pushing your eating disorder on someone else's kids. This is a health and safety issue. Tell your roommate the flies are disgusting, and if she can't keep the food covered in the fridge, this living situation isn't going to work out. This is honestly crazy because the problem could so easily be solved. Just put the food in an airtight container and move the container to the fridge after a reasonable amount of time. The kids can still open the container and snack when they're hungry, but you're not attracting flies. And now onto the update. After reading responses, I sat my roommate down again and said that the food being out and uncovered was a hard limit for me. I volunteered to buy fly guards or coverable Tupperware dishes, but she refused. Then I sent links to food safety information that a few posters had sent, but this enraged her. After that, it seemed to get worse. I left for 2 days to find the same meal on the table as when I left, along with several other plates of more recent food. Literally mold and rot. After this, I sort of realized how much she was pushing boundaries around the house otherwise. Like, kids are messy, but she'd encourage extreme messes and not clean up afterwards. For example, making Halloween dress-up costumes, but just having them drape themselves in rolls of toilet paper and then just leaving the torn-up TP all over the house. She would also help herself to a lot of my belongings. In the end, I told her this wasn't working out. A lot of people assumed I'd moved in with her, but actually, it's my house. We both moved in at the same time with her as my roommate. She isn't happy because it's hard for her to find affordable housing with the kids, but I was at my wit's end. I left her a glowing review with her new rental agency. I have since moved in one adult roommate and will be taking a second one in the new year. It is so relatively peaceful, and with 2 adults paying for the same space, I'll have a lot of extra money. The issues aren't over, she still has a bunch of things at my house, but things seem mostly resolved. Adding, I'm getting flack for leaving her a good review, which I understand based on how I worded it, but nothing I said to the leasing agency was a lie. She paid rent/bills on time, which was the big question. I also said the kids were well behaved. They are. And the older enrolled in school. Now in the comments, wow, she did all of this knowing it was your house and not caring about your rules? She's a bigger asshole than I thought. Also, I'll do what I want. No. Evict her. Surprised Pikachu face. She isn't happy because it's hard for her to find affordable housing with the kids. Well then, maybe she shouldn't be such a shitty roommate. Good for you. I'm sure she considers it to be 100% your fault too, but who cares? Now, speaking as a landlord myself, familiarize yourself with your state's abandoned property laws. Give her whatever notice is required. Keep proof that you did, and the day the deadline expires, just pitch it all. She can scream and rant and even sue, but she will lose. You don't have to keep her crap there any longer than the law requires. Call CPS. Her children are about to get food poisoning or worse at any minute. Thank you. Everyone's jumping on the glowing review part, which, yeah, but I haven't seen much about the fact that she's literally leaving moldy and rotting food out for her kids to eat. Well, you know, as a roommate, she initiated an innovative in-house composting program. Whoa, she really is ahead of her time, that one. Our next post is titled, Am I the Asshole for Costing My Coworkers Their Bonus? So I work for one of those little pop-up urgent care clinics as a front desk receptionist. My job is to check people in, triage and collect copay, and handle insurance. So lately, on looking at a bunch of the patients' charts, I've noticed that they are getting their copay refunded as a credit on their account. I called our billing department, and they said to not take the copay and to apply the credit instead. However, my regional director called me later on, angry that I wasn't collecting the copay, and that I still should collect despite us owing the patient money because it looks bad not to, and it's too much effort, her words, to screen for credit balances on our audits. So she's taking away the bonuses for the front desk because this has skewed us below our percent of collections. I think it is stealing, and my coworker agrees, but the regional director is angry because she has lost the bonus as well for our clinic. Am I the asshole for refusing to comply? The rest of my office is split 50-50 on this, so I'm curious of the opinions of all of you who are on the outside of the situation. Now in the comments, not the asshole. You are being told to rob your clients. It's not okay to rob people just because you get tossed a few bucks to rob them. Perhaps direct this conversation to the local authorities. And OP replies, Thank you for your response. I'm not sure if the local authorities will do much since this is at corporate level and this clinic is in a small town. After I find a new job, I'll probably report them though, if I can find the right authority to report them to. Not the asshole. I'd be livid if I had a credit on my account and got charged. You did the right thing. Bonuses shouldn't be based on collecting copays. That's awful. And OP says, Thank you for your response. That is similar to my line of thinking, and it's frustrating seeing a lot of people who could use that money elsewhere get charged another $75 copay just to treat the flu. Others feel that it's not morally my place, so I should just follow along. It sucks that your bonus is based on this. However, if you were the patient and found out that your account was credited instead of them sending you a refund, which you rightly deserve, wouldn't you be upset? I know I would. What they are doing is unethical, not the asshole. And OP replies, Thank you for your response. I'd be pretty livid myself. Others feel that they would be mad at the corporation and not me, so I should just follow along, which is why I was a bit confused as to whether my stance is okay or not. And now onto the update. So I read all of your comments, and though it wasn't a popular thread, I feel I owe you all an update. I walked into work this morning with a negative performance review based completely on my personality and how I've caused strife in this clinic for not charging copay to people with credits on their accounts. It was sent via email and not in person. So I quit and will be reporting her once my last paycheck goes through. My co-worker who also works on the front desk has put in her notice. My regional director sent a text asking to talk things through and fix things. She deleted her performance review and the state director called offering me a bonus to stay. But I think I've just lost trust in the place, so I no longer work at the Speedy Stride Clinic. Not the real name. Thank you all for your advice on how to report and your opinions. I found value in all of them. Now in the comments, you should tell the state director and the other proper authorities that the regional director causes you strife after emailing you a negative performance review based on the possibly illegal billing practices that you have uncovered at that place. Good for you, OP. I hope you find a better place to work that is not a thinly veiled front for illegal activities. You're leaving anyways, OP. Why try to preserve this bridge? That regional director already hates you. Best to report them and possibly get them fired and blacklisted for this, that way she can't affect your future employment. And also maybe helping to make sure the next person who has this job isn't treated the same way. Somebody in corporate just reamed that regional director for admitting to fraud in an email. Lol, I love it when assholes make it easy to give them their just desserts. That's what I was thinking. Someone higher up heard about what happened and the performance review and is scrambling to avoid legal trouble because of the regional director. So, let me get this straight. You uncover a probably illegal billing practice. If not illegal, at least unethical. You stop doing this practice, your grand boss tells you to do it anyways in email. You call multiple departments in your organization to determine if there is policy, and they support your correct billing. Your grand boss retaliates by giving you a negative review and retracting your annual bonus. Sounds like you may have grounds to sue. Trust is huge. If you don't have it, anything could happen at any time. Our next post is titled, "Am I the asshole for yelling after my father brought my half-sister into our family therapy?" So I didn't even know my dad could do this. I'm so pissed about it, but I also feel really terrible. So yesterday was family counseling night, and I, 18 female, enjoy going because it gets all the secrets out and it makes me feel happy and like my family is normal. But my mum, 39 female, didn't go because my cousin gave birth and she wanted to be there to see her. So it was just me and my dad, 44 male, going, which is fine. We've been there alone a lot of time before. But waiting in the counselor's office already was my half-sister Eliza, 15 female, and I don't know why, it just made me upset seeing her there. I didn't not participate in the counseling session, but it made me really sad and mad at the same time, and the counselor figured out what was going on, but my dad didn't, and I couldn't even talk properly. It felt like Eliza was trying to make me look like a villain for not letting people know that she was my sister, which I never said she couldn't tell, just that I didn't want her to, and not wanting to hang out with her, which I don't. When we went back home, my dad asked me what was wrong and asked why I was so quiet, and I just yelled at him that he shouldn't have brought her without asking, and I felt like he broke my trust. He didn't say anything, but I could tell I hurt him. I just went to bed after crying. He came into my room later to talk, but I pretended to be asleep, and he kissed me on the forehead and left. I know I made him feel really bad, and I haven't seen him all day. He's over visiting my baby half-brother. My mum told me that I shouldn't have used the words that I did, since I'm 18 now, and I just feel like a major asshole about it all. Edit. Since somebody suggested that I add this, my dad is a serial cheater and has 4 kids, soon to be 5, out of his marriage to my mum, but I still love him a lot because he's a very good dad. What? What is going on here? Am I in crazy town? How is that normalized? Now in the comments, not the asshole. This therapy is a safe space for you, and he should have asked if it was alright to bring her. And if your answer was still no, he needs to respect that. Therapy is a space where you can go and work through your problems, not be blindsided. The man is married with 4 kids, soon to be 5 outside of his marriage. He has clearly never met a boundary he wouldn't cross. Not the asshole. Absolutely. No one except the dad is the asshole in this situation. I don't know, maybe mum for carrying on with this farce like nothing to see here, while setting up her child to carry all this upset, while still believing that he is in any way a good father. Way to model a healthy, loving relationship for your child. Both parents are assholes at this point. 5 kids out of the marriage is way past family therapy. Mum sticking with this relationship probably has a lot to do with why they're in family therapy. Combine that with dad's serial cheating, and this is not a healthy environment for a kid. I looked at your posting history, and it's pretty clear not the asshole. Your father should not have cheated, or since now it's kinda too late for that, he should not force you to deal with your half-siblings, and especially not as a surprise in your therapy session. Your half-sister is also not the asshole though, and if you took out your anger on her, you would be the asshole. And OP replies, I go to an exclusive all-girls academy, and my half-sister transferred there at the start of this semester. She only started recently because she was in the hospital before. If she hadn't approached me, I don't think he would have tried this, but I haven't gotten angry at her. I've always been polite. Oh my god, this is just onions, isn't it? We're just peeling back layers of this situation. Now she was in hospital? Oh my god, I hope she's alright. I would suggest that you update your post to reflect the situation with your dad being a serial cheater, and that you have multiple half-siblings that you don't share a home/life with, and don't really know well. That is actually very relevant context for this discussion. Curious as to whether or not your parents are still together/living in the same house and trying to salvage the immediate family, or if they're split up, because that also seems relevant. And now, on to the update. So, just to give everybody an update, my dad didn't come home all day on Saturday because my baby half-brother was in the hospital. Apparently things are really bad with him, and the day after he came back from the hospital, we had a big talk about what happened. I want to thank everyone who pointed out that I was right to be upset, but I had things to think about regarding Eliza because she was hurting too. First, Dad apologized for not telling me that he was bringing Eliza into the counseling session and that he wouldn't ever do anything like that again. I apologized for swearing while yelling, and he forgave me. When he asked me if I understood that Eliza was hurting too, I told him I did, and he suggested we have our own counseling. I told him that I'd think on it. The second thing that he told me is there's a chance that my baby half-brother might die, and that news put the things I said in perspective for him. He told me he'd already talked about it with my mum and his mistress, but was asking me for permission because he hurt me the most and never should have. He wanted to know if I'd be okay with him going to inpatient rehab for sex addiction, which I didn't know was a thing. I said yes because I hope it'll help him, even though I know that I'm going to miss him a lot. Like some of you suggested, I agreed to counseling with Eliza on Wednesdays. We've had only one session now, and even though we aren't friends or anything, I think she gets why I feel the way I do, and she apologized to me because she didn't know how hurt I was because of Dad. After she confessed being hospitalized made her feel normal, since Dad visited her every day, I felt bad, and apologized for not having cared about her. She still feels upset about me not wanting to let her tell people that we're sisters, but told me she is fine since we are doing counseling, and we might one day get close. I don't know if we will, but at least we won't hate each other. I also took Eliza with me to visit our baby half-brother in the hospital, and it surprised his mum that we came there. I'm still not forgiving her though. He's a really cute kid, and I regret not seeing him much before. It's hard to say, but I originally made this Reddit account to rant about my half-siblings, but you guys really helped make a difference in the way that I was approaching this, and what I'll use this account for later on. Now in the comments, I am so very sorry about your little brother. I'm glad you found a way to exist with Eliza. I wish you well. Is your father going to get a vasectomy anytime soon then? This is the beginning of a happy ending. I hope your half-brother will be okay, and thanks for the update. OP says, I hope he gets better too, but I don't know. Apparently it's getting worse and I'm freaking out right now. One day at a time. Take every moment for what it is, and allow yourself to feel the bad as well as the good. That must feel scary. Know my fingers are crossed for you, and that you've handled the situation with a lot of grace and understanding. You're a smart person, and I hope you'll continue to grow this way. And I hope your little brother gets better, as that is awful, and it should not happen to anyone. And OP replies, "Thanks. I went to visit him last night, and I'll go again tonight. I'm feeling more calm now, but it's still scary to even think about that. That's why I'm on Reddit during class." And that's where I'm going to end it today, guys. Wow, that last story, I didn't see it going that way. I thought that was going to be a normal story. But dear Lord, this is real life. People really experience these things. I feel so bad for OP. I wish that situation wasn't happening to them. I do wish that things get better and the 2-year-old brother comes through in the end. Wow, that's just like a slap in the face of reality for me. Anyway, guys, with that said, tell me what you thought about these stories. I hope you guys have a nice day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.